Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and we are here today continuing our coverage of the Destiny 2 gameplay reveal. Now, I wasn't actually at the Destiny 2 event, so I don't actually have any fresh and feisty gameplay to showcase for you guys. There are plenty of other big channels that were there that did have the opportunity to do that, but that doesn't mean that we still don't have things to talk about, specifically the subclasses that were at the event. We now actually have images for all three of the subclasses that were featured there and their full skill trees. Interestingly enough, the only new subclass that was there was the Dawnblade for the Warlock. The Titan and the Hunters actually got two old subclasses. So that kind of answers a question that I asked yesterday. Where the hell did the old subclasses go? So we at least now know where the Striker for the Titan went and the Gunslinger for the Hunter went. They have both returned and they have been modified quite a bit. We're also going to see remnants of old subclasses mixed in here, specifically with the Dawnblade. So let's actually start by diving right into this and taking a look at the Dawnblade. Dawn comes on swift wings. I gotta say, I love what Bungie has done with the new tree here. It actually looks like a tree this time around. It's not just a confusing mess of buttons that you click on to activate different abilities. They're now separated into their own categories, so we've got like grenades, movement modifiers, and then we've got like our attunements for our special or for other things on the right side there. It just looks way better. It's very pretty. It's animated really well when you see it in action in a video, and all in all, I think it's just an amazing demonstration of the art team over at Bungie. So let's actually start by taking a look at our very first grenade there. We've got a solar grenade. The grenades seem directly taken from the Sunsinger class, so that, you know, what happened? Maybe in the case of the Warlock, the Sunsinger was actually swapped out for the Dawnblade, and maybe we'll see similar situations with the other two subclasses if they make a return for the Titan and the Hunter. Something to consider. You'll notice we've also got our Firebolt grenade and our Fusion grenade. Moving down, we see our ultimate, our super ability, which is called Daybreak. So we're going to trigger the ability to weave solar light into blades and smite your foes from the sky. That, of course, is what we saw with the Dawnblade in much of the footage from yesterday. Moving over, we see two new abilities for this class. We've got the Healing Rift, so we press and hold circle to conjure a well of light that continuously heals those inside of it. So, much like I asked yesterday, the Warlock will be able to heal not just itself, but other players on the battlefield. That's pretty freaking cool, guys. I'm really excited about a proper healing role being inside of the game. Moving down, we've got Empowering Rift. So we're going to press and hold circle again to conjure a well of light. This time that increases the attack power of those inside. This is pretty freaking cool. Much like the Defender bubble that we had for the Titan, we can either heal or boost people's attacks. You know, basically up their survivability or increase their damage output. I really like the direction they went with this one. Moving down, we can see that our movement modifiers are still intact. So we've got Controlled Glide, we've got Balanced Glide, or Focused Burst. This is where things get a little bit more interesting. You'll notice that these things on the right side seem to be called attunements. Now, we don't really see a name for the bottom attunement as it isn't currently activated. And I don't know if we'll be able to actually stack that on top or if it's going to be a choice. Do I activate the top four or do I activate the bottom four? But currently the player seems to have the top four activated, and it starts with Phoenix Dive. So if we hold circle while in air, we can quickly descend and regenerate health. Say what? What? That's the dopest ability I've ever seen, and it clearly Warlocks are going for the sort of proper mage magic healing role here. The self-heal on the Warlock is going to be dope, and this is going to make them, as they were in Destiny 1, excessively survivable in PvE situations. If people are soloing anything, they're probably going to be doing it with the Warlock. Moving up, we see Skyfire. While Daybreak is active, so your super, Descend causes explosive damage where you land. Now, I think we actually saw a bit of this in the gameplay reveal yesterday where the character actually descended and smashed their sword into the ground, so maybe that's what we were seeing was a showcase of the Skyfire ability active. Moving forward, we see Risen Angel. While in air, aim your weapon to hover in place for a short time. Dealing precision damage extends this effect's duration. Dude, I want to play a Warlock now. This just sounds incredible. It's basically the Imperium Bellicose built into the Warlock, and you get to extend the effect by landing precision shots. This is turning out to be super, super cool for Warlock players. Last up in that attunement, we've got Igniting Touch, a powerful melee ability that ignites enemies and causes them to explode. So again, something similar to what we saw with the Sunsinger class. Now, if we take a look at that bottom one, we can actually also take a look at what we might need to unlock these abilities. So it appears to be one gem. I don't want to call that an exotic shard, but it kind of looks similar to it. I'm sure some hardcore Destiny person out there might have a better idea of what that is, but we will need one of those to unlock each of these 4 abilities down here. So let's start with the Fire Starter, a powerful melee ability that damages enemies while also increasing your movement and reload speed. Yeah, this is just turning out to be a really great class. Next up is Wildfire. Engage your enemies mid-flight. Fire weapons and throw grenades while gliding. Again, that focus on just letting you get airborne. This class seems to be all about taking to the skies and wreaking havoc while you're up there. Everlasting Flames. Killing an enemy with Daybreak extends its durations, so a boost to our super. And last up, we've got Blazing Dash. Press circle, circle while midair to dodge. That's actually something you're going to notice across all 3 of the classes we look at today, is they all seem to have dodge abilities now. So maybe increasing player mobility was at the core of Bungie's redesign when it came to these subclasses. Really excited about that. Let's go ahead and move forward and take a look at the new Striker subclass. So here we are again with some more beautiful artwork from the Bungie team. The Striker. At close quarters, a fist is better than any gun. Really like the way they've handled that once again. Let's start off by taking a look at our grenades, just like we did before, and you notice some returning favorites. We've got the Lightning Grenade, we've got our Pulse Grenade, and we've got a Flashbang Grenade. Moving on over, we start to see some of the things that I talked about in the gameplay reveal yesterday. So we've got our Towering Barricade, a large barrier that can be used for cover or to seal off dangerous areas for a short time. This is the barricade that the Titan seems to sort of bounce off of with its shoulder to activate it, and then it appears in front of the Titan. It looks super cool. The animation sets in Destiny 2 so far are blowing me away, and I can't wait to actually appreciate them in-game. And then we have the Rally Barricade. Again, exactly what I mentioned. As it turns out, we were seeing part of the Striker subclass yesterday. This is a small barrier that allows you to peek over it while aiming down the sights and instantly reloads your equipped weapon when you take cover. We have a first-person cover system inside of Destiny 2 with the Striker subclass. This is so freaking cool, guys. Bungie really went over the top with the details on these, and I was wondering how that was going to work. I think just crouching behind cover is kind of lame, so now we can actually crouch, aim down sights, instantly peek over, much like you do in Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 4 right now, and you're going to instantly reload your weapon when you go back to cover. This is like going to make you this awesome frontline defender, again, really with an offensive push alongside of it. Just incredible. I'm really stoked to be a Titan, guys, although the Warlock still seems really appealing. Moving on down to the bottom, we see that we've got our movement modifiers again, increased height, increased control, and catapult, and then we've, of course, got Fist of Havoc. Now, the thing about Fist of Havoc this time is that we can actually slam the ground multiple times, and we can also shoulder charge, so we can combo either of these things depending on the situation while being mobile and moving around until we drain all of our super meters. So much more flexibility. This is no longer just a one and done strike. This is going to make the Striker much more powerful in PvE, much more versatile. You don't have to feel like, oh, I got to line up all these enemies and try and do as much damage as I can. No, now you can sort of shoulder charge to a strike, to another shoulder charge, and combo however you need to get across the battlefield and do the maximum amount of damage. Really into this. Now, the interesting thing we're going to notice here is that this character, the Striker, has a different attunement slot setup. So the Code of the Judgment is actually active. But let's start by taking a look at the top 4. We've got Magnitude. This is going to increase the duration of our grenades, which is great. Our Pulse Grenades, our Lightning Grenades, and Aftermath, I should say. And then Aftermath, which is here, is going to allow Fist of Havoc to disorient enemies and leave a damage-dealing field in its wake. So again, something similar to what we had with the previous Striker class. We're also going to notice Aerial Strike. It deals more damage the longer it is in the air. So jumping off of a high ledge is actually going to allow you to do more damage. So if I go up on a cliff and jump down on some enemies, I can potentially multiply the damage that Fist of Havoc does. That's just kind of super cool superhero stuff, and I'm all about that. Looking at that bottom Code of the Judgment slot, we've got Frontal Assault, a powerful melee punch that grants you increased weapon stability. Reversal, melee kills immediately trigger health regeneration, hell yeah. Knockout, breaking enemy shields increases your melee range. And Trample, Fist of Havoc lasts longer while sprinting. Killing enemies with Fist of Havoc will extend its duration. I'll tell you what, I'm really excited about the whole Frontal Assault one. The idea that we can combo melee into increased weapon stability, that blends really well with everything else going on in the Striker class, and damn, I think Bungie's already seemingly doing a great job in reinventing these old subclasses. Let's go forward and take a look at the Hunter with a Gunslinger. A lone wolf who lives for the perfect shot. Let's go ahead and start once again with our grenade selection here. We've got our Swarm Grenades, we've got our Incendiary Grenades, and we've got our Trip Mine Grenade returning, so really happy about those. you know, there's obviously going to be nuances as to how these have been modified, how they perform in-game, whether we're in PvE or in PvP, so keep that in mind. Moving down, of course, we've got the return of the Golden Gun, going to allow us to summon a Flaming Pistol. We all know how that works. It's probably just as powerful and just as outstanding. In fact, you'll see in a second when we get to the Way of the Outlaw how it's actually been modified with the return of this subclass. Let's take a look, though, at what's going on with our left side here. These have been the sort of 2 new abilities, right, for these returning subclasses. And in this case, we've got Marksman Dodge. This will automatically reload our equipped weapon when dodging. Basically, we've become McCree. And I really, really like the idea of this. Again, there seems to be a push to make certain classes more mobile, more functional, more usable in certain situations where they felt more kind of hunkered down tanky. Maybe that's just part of Bungie's core gameplay focus to get players moving around a little bit more, you know, especially in PvE encounters where we would tend to hunker down in a corner. I like the idea of this. More mobile gameplay to me means more exciting gameplay, more exciting gunplay. Let's go ahead and check out Gambler's Dodge. So dodging near enemies generates melee energy. So again, a lot of versatility in how we can play this class, how we can mix and match things. I'm already really into the idea of this. Looking at the bottom, we have, of course, our mobility modifiers again. We've got high jump, we've got strafe jump, and we've got triple jump. Now, if we move over and again take a look at these attunements, we're going to see Way of the Outlaw active on the top here. So Chains of Woe. Precision kills increase weapon reload speed for you and nearby allies, again giving your team a buff as well. Bombs for Bullseyes. Precision hits generate grenade energy. 6-shooter, the Golden Gun can fire quickly up to 6 times, but it will have a shorter duration, so you're going to have to really rapid fire this thing, sort of McCree style, Wild Wild West style, if you want to get the most out of those 6 shots. Explosive Knife, we can throw a knife at the enemy that explodes shortly after impact when melee energy is full. Then looking at the bottom 4, we've got some more knife stuff. Night Juggler, throwing a knife at the enemy when melee's energy is full. A precision kill with this ability immediately recharges it, so ways to just keep throwing knives all day long. The Gunslinger's Trance. Enter a trance with each precision kill, reducing the cooldown of your golden gun. That just makes sense to me. Headshots means more golden guns more often. Crowd Pleaser. Precision hits with golden gun generates orbs of light for your allies, so a way to boost your team's generation of their supers. And then last, we've got Line 'em Up. Precision hits with the golden gun increase its damage and extend its duration. I gotta be honest, guys, this was more than I expected. You know, I wasn't really sure how the old subclass is gonna return, but I think what this really showcases and demonstrates, in my opinion, is Bungie's redesign, rework of the core combat systems inside of Destiny with Destiny 2. Really giving us more variety, more diversity in how we mix and match to deal with different encounters, to deal with different play styles. And I think, again, all in all, a focus on getting players moving around more often. I mean, you look at the Striker subclass, and yeah, we've got defensive stuff. You know, a lot of it, somebody pointed this out yesterday when we were talking about the 3 new subclasses. A lot of it does seem to fall in line with the lore for the different classes. The idea that a Titan is actually a tank, but one who is also very capable on the offensive side. You know, the focus of accuracy for the Gunslinger and sort of sustain and healing for the Warlock, you know, preservation of life. So I think they've also taken that into account and used that to sort of mesh it all together. It just all looks fantastic to me. I can't wait to get my hands on these subclasses. I can't wait to see what they've done with the other subclasses. If they all make a return alongside of the new subclasses, which we still don't have full details on their abilities either, this is going to be really exciting at launch, figuring out what we do as we go from scratch, of course, losing our light, losing our abilities, and then re-earning these different subclasses. And I'm interested to see how we're going to re-earn them. You know, how these stories are going to be told to bring us back to the Gunslinger, to bring us back to the Striker, so on and so forth. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Which subclass has you the most excited? What do you think of the reworks of the Gunslinger and the Striker? Is it enough for you? Were you hoping for more changes? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Stay tuned for more Destiny 2 coverage. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to play smart, remember to play to challenge yourself, but most importantly, remember to play for fun.